Well, the thing that never happens, or so we're told, it's happened again. This is what I mean by that. Every time for the past, oh, it's really many years. You could go back decades, really, even before social media. Every time any story popped up or somebody posted something, let's say on like X or something like that, you would get community noted by somebody when you would say, it's clear that in this particular case, illegals are voting. Somebody would pop up and say, it's already illegal for illegals to vote. That can't happen. Or some representative of that state, some elected politician, some swamp monster would say, that doesn't happen in our state. It's on the books. Illegals can't vote. Never happens. Just doesn't ever happen. I think that argument has gone away forever after this New Jersey story. Maybe you've seen it, maybe not. Maybe you're just kind of like having, fatigue over this stuff, but there are a lot of things happening with this. So New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill, and she's quick, and you're going to hear here in the press conference, she says it multiple times that before I was elected, it's got nothing to do with me. Although she's the person that is, along with some other states, is directly blocking the Department of Justice to look into their voter rolls. Very interesting. And the timing is interesting in this thing too. So we'll give you the update and try to unravel all of this stuff because it's very interesting on the timing of this, which is most important. Just a week after President Trump said they think there's at least 250,000 illegal voters actively voting in at least 4 states that they know of. Anyway, we'll get to it. Doesn't happen though, right? Just a glitch. It's just a glitch. You can hear that word a lot today. It's just a glitch. Thanks for finding me with Wicked Radio and the live stream on X and YouTube and Facebook and the replay on all those channels as well. An audio podcast posted just after we get off the live stream. All right, let's go to the press conference from the governor of New Jersey herself and take it in her own words. I'll kind of talk over this a little bit because take note of a couple of different things. She's going to say glitch. She's going to mention something about people getting a driver's license who said they were illegals. I'll explain that in here in just a second. But she keeps on mentioning it's nothing. Before I was elected, it's got nothing to do with me. So this was the press conference, and we'll get to reaction after that. Here it was yesterday.
In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state.
Okay.
When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote.
Do you really think they would?
Registered them anyway.
Do you really think anybody is actually going to say that? First of all, that I'm a non-citizen. I would like to register to vote. Well, that's just a glitch. No, that's a glitch by design if it's a glitch. So she's saying, first of all, way before, and the press conference goes on way longer than that, but that was the gist of it. Way before I was elected. She makes sure to clarify that multiple times in the press conference. And then she says something right there. She says, we're citizens of the state, okay, loose definition there, were asked whether or not they would like to vote. And some of them had said they were not legal American citizens. Why are they at the DMV? Here's your first explanation. This is why that happened. You may not be aware of that. In 2018, okay, New Jersey pushed through a change to a law that automatically registers to vote people applying for driver's license. Anybody applying for a driver's license, you get it? So how much of a glitch is this if that's baked into the system? Not much of a glitch so far. But this is the amazing thing, okay? Now keep in mind the timeline on this. This is a week after the pressure from President Trump and illegal voting, and this is the real push for the Save America Act, right? Also a week after the Department of Justice has found what they know of 250,000 illegal voters in California, New Jersey, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Now all of a sudden, they're willing to talk about a glitch? This is the amazing part, though. The very same press conference right after that, the deflection game was amazing on this. She couldn't wait to blame somehow, some way, the Trump administration for all of this. Same press conference. It's not an apology to the voters in New Jersey, to America, because that really dilutes all of our votes, really, when you're talking about federal elections. There's no apology there, not how we're going to fix it. It's Trump, his conspiracy theories, and of course, what always happens What's the common denominator whenever there's some massive story of fraud exposed and they actually go after it? What always happens? January 6th gets mentioned. This is such a crock. Anyway, this is truly something here. Of course she has to blame Trump.
Let me be clear. Donald Trump has zero credibility on the issue of election integrity. For the past 10 years, he's cried wolf and peddled bizarre conspiracy theories about fraud with no evidence. I saw the consequences of Trump's lies on January 6th. I was in the Capitol when he and his followers tried to steal the election and put the lives of hundreds of members of our law enforcement at risk.
Again, no apology. No, we're sorry this happened. It's terrible. It was never. You know what I didn't hear out of her yesterday? When you actually look at this press conference, no words, and this may be the best indication, no statement of this will never happen again, or not on my watch, or, while she's saying that this had nothing to do with me, it's not, I'll make sure that we're cracking down. If we find more, we'll be first to tell you. Nope. They go directly to January 6th somehow for this as they tried to steal an election. Did they? Did they really? January 6th is the last string they're holding on to try to tell you that they've done nothing wrong. It was all that evil Trump administration. This is their last bastion of hope when it comes to that. But now, hold on a second. Let's go to it. Now that she mentioned President Trump, and I wasn't even going to bring this up here, what was it that he said just a week ago? And this goes back to that 250,000 voters they know of so far, and he has a statement about this, about the real number in New Jersey, because of course he's going to react to this, because this is a big push. Listen, let's be adults in the room about this. This is also politically big advantage for the Republicans that are actually trying to push the Save America Act, because all they got to do is look at New Jersey and say, see? They keep telling you it's not happening. This is why you need to secure our elections. But Trump's response on Truth Social included a video of the same 250,000 illegals they have caught so far in those states: Jersey, California, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. This was his response yesterday.
According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments.
And this is all part of of course, tying the Chinese and the CCP to meddling in our elections. But what he said there, you might have seen it there, unless you're an audio listener, you might have seen it there. The statement attached to the video that he replayed from last week was, the numbers are much higher than that. It's not only, we know of 250,000, it's way higher than 6,600 that they found in New Jersey. But the most important part of all, and you would think after this, you'd have, if you were a governor and your state was caught with a glitch, let's call it a glitch, over 6,600 illegals they know of voting in an election a couple of years ago. You would think you would be part of a state administration where you're like, we want to work with you however we can. Whatever you need, come on in. We'll share with you whatever we have. That's not happening. And I think maybe that's the whole key to the entire story. Because Mikey Sherrill is one of the governors of one of the states that's refusing to share all these voter rolls. Oh, isn't that funny? Do you really? And we have to ask the question, would we even get this story? Would this press conference have happened yesterday if DHS hadn't come out and they said, we have right here, limited scope, 250,000 illegal voters in those 4 states. You're one of them. Do you think we get this press conference if they hadn't come out and said that? Because I'm thinking no, we wouldn't actually get that. But you'd think, again, and there's no indication this is going to happen so far, if you're on the up and up, and she keeps on saying that this had nothing to do with me, and we are determined to find out what's going on here, you would think they'd open up everything. Apparently not. Not according to Harmeet Dillon, who is the Assistant Attorney General of the United States, who said something and I'm sure she'll do a lot of media today, but she wrote something, and this was posted on X yesterday, and I'm sure there's an official press release coming that was fascinating to me. You talk about a strong statement. Again, this is the Assistant Attorney General of the U.S. This is what she said. I note that New Jersey is one of the states refusing to allow the Justice Department and the Civil Rights Department to help them avoid exactly such errors, meaning they're not sharing their voting rules. And she wrapped it up by saying, stay tuned. Now, here's the takeaway for you, me, and everybody else as far as that goes. We all ask the question we all need to know. Okay, great. We've heard about these cases before. We want to know if something's freaking being done about it. I think the good news in all this crap is, yeah, I think so. And I think the first step is you just have to go to the statement right there from the Assistant Attorney General saying, stay tuned. They're already on that. Now, a full investigation from the Department of Justice has now been launched into the state of New Jersey and their voter rolls. So regardless of what Mikey Sherrill and her administration and her attorney general in that state, whatever they've tried to do to try to cover up and keep the feds from looking into this and finding all the illegal voting in that state, it may not matter. And maybe that's why they haven't admitted anything, because the Department of Justice is coming anyway. But the second big thing is, I would love to sit here and tell you I think this is the final straw. I think this is the final straw that's going to get the Save America Act passed. It would be a little naive to actually say that. But it's just another brick in the wall, isn't it? Isn't it another piece of evidence? So time this to what the Homeland Security found. They know of 250,000 illegal voters, and that's a small number in 4 states. That's a drop of the bucket. It's way more than that, like Trump said. We know, like the press conference last week, or the address from the White House where Trump said CCP is directly involved in interfering our elections. We know that. Okay. And now you have a state in New Jersey where a glitch, using finger quotes there, a glitch accounted for, well, at least 6,600 people illegally voted in our state. Now you have all this stuff. First thing is, they can't say anymore that never happens. That never happens. Because the thing that they say never happens happened again. But now we've got 3 pieces of evidence, if not common sense, to say, you've got to pass this Save America Act and get going and secure our elections. My God, all you got to do is point to New Jersey and other states now to do that. But I think if I was to take a guess, I'm not good at predictions, but it seems to be, if you look at the pattern recognition here, it seems to be that a Department of Justice investigation into these particular states, these 4, California, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, maybe more, some massive investigation is coming. Like as far as like voter raids, they had the National Intelligence, the Office of National Intelligence, go to Fulton County and get all their voter rolls. That's what led to the press conference from Trump about China interfering in our elections. Doesn't it seem like something else big is coming? It kind of seems that way. And look at the Rhino Republicans who are getting in the way, John Thune, of the Save America Act. How do you look at this now? How do you look at this now? What Trump needs to do is haul them into the Oval Office, or hell, go to the Senate floor himself and say, see what's happening in New Jersey? Is your perfect example. Save it now. Nuke the filibuster. Secure our elections. Will it happen? I don't know. It seems unlikely, but just a couple of days ago, didn't it seem unlikely that a state like New Jersey would come out and say, yeah, it's true, a glitch, we found thousands of illegal votes. Yeah, it's true. Unlikely things are starting to happen now, and that's the good news. So let's hope it comes to fruition. This is how it involves you and me. We got to keep the pressure on. No matter where you live in this country, keep the pressure on all of these politicians, even the ones that are for passing the Save America Act. Still, even if you know they have the vote, push them to get it done and to talk to their colleagues to make sure this thing passes somehow, some way, because this is just insane. But the thing that never happens happened again. Isn't that amazing? All right, this happened again. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate you so much. Thanks so much. Special shout out to the audio podcast listeners. There's a lot of you joining every single week, really, it seems. So I appreciate you. Whatever podcast you like to listen on, find it, download it, and you can find me easily. And I appreciate that so much. But live stream, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, on these channels, X, YouTube, and Facebook, and then the replay on those channels and clips on those social media channels as well. But regardless, bottom line is, appreciate you. Keep the pressure on these crooked politicians, and let's keep an eye on what happens. Make it a wicked awesome. Is it Wednesday? I don't know. I'm on vacation. I can't even tell anymore. But have a great one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.